Bob Newhart was born George Robert Newhart on September 5, 1929, in Oak Park, Illinois, to George David Newhart and Julia Pauline Burns, both of whom were devout Catholics. A sister, Joan Newhart, is a Roman Catholic nun. Newhart is of Irish and German descent. Newhart attended St. Ignatius College Prep and graduated in 1952 from Loyola University, Chicago, with a business degree. He was drafted in the U.S. Army and served stateside during the Korean War until discharged in 1954. After the war, he got a job as an accountant for United States Gypsum. He later claimed that his motto, "That's close enough," shows he didn't have the temperament to be an accountant. He also claimed to have been a clerk in the unemployment office who made $60 a week, but who quit upon learning weekly unemployment benefits were $55 a week, and they only had to come into the office one day a week to collect it. In 1958, he became an advertising copywriter for Fred A. Niles, a major independent film and television producer in Chicago. It was at the company that he and a co-worker would entertain each other in long telephone calls, which they would record, then send to a radio station as audition tapes. When his co-worker ended his participation, Newhart continued the recordings alone, developing the shtick which was to serve him well for decades. In addition to his various stand-up bits, he incorporated that shtick into his television series at appropriate times. The auditions led to his breakthrough recording contract. A disc jockey at the radio station, Dan Sorkin, who later became the announcer sidekick on his NBC series, introduced Newhart to the head of talent at Warner Brothers Records, which signed him only a year after the label was formed, based solely on those recordings. He expanded his material into a stand-up routine, which he began to perform at nightclubs. Newhart became famous mostly on the strength of his audio releases, in which he became the world's first solo straight man. This is a seeming contradiction. In terms by definition, a straight man is the counterpart of a more loony comedic partner. Newhart's routine, however, was simply to portray one end of a phone call, playing the straightest of comedic straight men and implying what he was hearing on the other end of the phone. Newhart was the first comic to use an intentional stammer in service of his unique combination of politeness and disbelief at what he was supposedly hearing. His 1960 comedy album, The Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart, went straight to #1 on the charts, beating Elvis Presley and the cast album of The Sound of Music. Button-Down Mind received the 1961 Grammy Award for Album of the Year. Newhart also won Best New Artist, and his quickly released follow-on album, The Button-Down Mind Strikes Back, won Best Comedy Performance, Spoken Word, that same year. Subsequent comedy albums include Behind the Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart, 1961, The Button-Down Mind on TV, 1962, Bob Newhart Faces, Bob Newhart, 1964, The Windmills Are Weakening, 1965, This Is It, 1967, Best of Bob Newhart, 1971, and Very Funny, Bob Newhart, 1973. Years later, he released Bob Newhart Off the Record, 1992, The Button-Down Concert, 1997, and Something Like This, 2001, an anthology of his 1960s Warner Brothers albums. In 2003, Newhart guest starred on 3 episodes of ER in a rare dramatic role that earned him a Primetime Emmy Award nomination, his first in nearly 20 years. In 2009, he received another Primetime Emmy nomination for reprising his role as Judson in The Librarian, Curse of the Judas Chalice. On August 27, 2006, at the 58th Primetime Emmy Awards, hosted by Conan O'Brien, Newhart was placed in a supposedly airtight glass prison that contained 3 hours of air. If the Emmys went over the time of 3 hours, he would die. This gag was an acknowledgement of the common frustration that award shows usually run on past their allotted time, usually 3 hours. Newhart survived his containment to help O'Brien present the award for Outstanding Comedy Series, which went to The Office. In 2013, Newhart appeared in an episode of the 6th season of The Big Bang Theory, playing the aged Professor Proton. Arthur Jeffries, a former science TV show host turned children's party entertainer, for which he was awarded a Primetime Emmy Award. It was Newhart's first Emmy. At that year's Emmy ceremony, Newhart appeared as a presenter with The Big Bang Theory star Jim Parsons and received a standing ovation. He continued to play the character periodically through the show's 12th and final season and on its spin-off, Young Sheldon. Buddy Hackett introduced Newhart to Virginia Lillian, Ginny Quinn, born December 9, 1940, the daughter of character actor Bill Quinn. They were married on January 12, 1963. The couple had 4 children. Ginny Newhart died at age 82 on April 23, 2023. In 1985, Newhart was hospitalized for secondary polycythemia, a condition attributed to his years of heavy smoking. He recovered after several weeks and eventually quit smoking. Newhart died from complications of several short illnesses at his home in Los Angeles on July 18, 2024, at the age of 94.